I think I'm live. Hello, crafting buddies. It's Late Night Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Crafting. I am coming to you on Friday. Happy Fri-YAY, August 22nd. And it is 11:22 p.m. here in Wisconsin. So I am waiting for my iPad to catch up with me so I can see if anybody joins me live and hopefully catch any comments that might be coming through. So welcome. A couple of quick announcements. In Color sales coming to an end on August 31st. You can go to the website, hit shop, shop by color, choose In Color, and you will see a whole bunch of stuff that's on sale. And my special bonus is I have purchased a bunch of these cloud cover full-size ink pads. And if you order a minimum of $35 of product from me, so that does not include shipping or tax, I will gift you an ink pad, a full-size ink pad, because these are not available for customer purchase. I've explained that in some past videos, so if you've got questions, let me know. This little beauty is going live in about 12 days, on the 12th day from now, if I don't count the next 31 minutes, 36 minutes. So anyway, I am not allowed to show you the inside of this catalog until the day that it goes live. So all I can do is show you the cover, and I can tell you I'm really excited about a lot of the things that are in there. And I recently shared an announcement that Stampin' Up! Is making some big changes. Red rubber stamps are going away. Markers are going away. Those are on the last chance list. I haven't checked to see what supplies are like right now. But Stampin' Up! Is also changing the packaging for stamp sets. And just a little hint, they're going to be taller. Stamp sets are going to be in the same kind of envelope as dies come in. But this is a little sneak peek of something that's coming out in November as a new online exclusive. So the new cases are going to be more slimlined. That's a little closer picture of those images. They're going to be in more slimline, so it is going to free up a lot of space in my shelving units. And then they have a nice, you probably can't see it, but it's just a nice little tuck tab instead of a slotted thing. So that's going to be cool. So tonight I thought, and it occurred to me after the fact that, oh, on the 12th day, it's going to be the release date for that new catalog. So why not do something Christmas, like the 12 days of Christmas? I don't know if I'll do that, but maybe I should. I thought I would pull out some traditional Christmas colors. So I have some garden green. I have some real red. And I pulled in the basic beige. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it. Hello, Nicole. Welcome from Perth. And it is, what, about 9:30 in the morning by you? Do I have my time zone right? I know it's Saturday morning for you, or maybe Saturday early afternoon. But I've got my garden green, my real red. I'm going to do some blending brushes. And I had a scrap of garden green that actually had adhesive on it from my adhesive sheets. So I just cut a bunch of these little leaf pieces out. So I have those ready. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. I cut out this itty bitty label, and I am going to use 12:30. All right, so I was a little bit off. So it is early afternoon. That was one of my guesses, right? So I'm going to use this Layers of Beauty. Now, this really has nothing to do with Christmas. It's not a traditional Christmas flower, at least not in the United States. Typically, our Christmas flower is considered to be a poinsettia. But this is roses, and I thought if I did the roses in red, the leaves in green, I might be able to make it kind of look Christmassy. So we're just going to play with it and see what happens, because sometimes that's just what you have to do. I have this big die here that will cut out this image. So you can see that the image on the case is smaller than real life. It's only at 85% on the case. And I embossed a few pieces of the colors to kind of do a little tone on tone effect. And I thought the plaid would kind of be Christmassy. So this is a Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder. So when you emboss with the 3D embossing folder, of course, you use your #1 plate and the #4 plate, no shims. Okay. So Nicole, what have you been working on? And then I'm also going to be using the Layers of Beauty decorative masks, thus the blending brushes. So I think what I'm going to do here is just quick do the sentiments. I thought I would just do a simple little God bless on here because it fits on these tags. And I'm just going to do 2 of those. And I think I'll do it in red. And I think I'm going to have it go this way. And I'm just going to hold it on there for a few seconds so more of the ink can soak into the paper. It kind of helps get a nice image. And hopefully I have it straight. It looks close to being straight. It's hard to tell when I can't put my head over the sentiment strip. Oh, a new laptop. Oh yeah. I do not envy you. Yeah, I got a new laptop a couple of years ago actually. And my old one is still plugged in so the battery won't go dead because I still want to compare stuff. That's how long I've been sitting on it. It isn't fun. I need to go find a Memento ink. Give me just a second here. I had a class the other day, so I had some of my stuff out. Have you ever used the decorative masks, Nicole? I did when they first came out. I did a couple of these just to kind of test some of the colors. So this was like, I think, bubblegum and yeah, the purpley one, not rich raspberry because that one's gone. And then this I don't, this might be, it might be, I don't know, it might be Berry Burst. It might be an older color. And then this I did with some yellows. But what I didn't do, yeah, I love the masks. What I didn't do on any of these is use the outline stamp. Because I just wasn't thinking at the time. I was just so excited to try the blending brushes with the masks that I just, it didn't even occur to me to put the outline on there. So today I'm going to do the outlines. And we're going to see how it works. So I have a Stamparatus. I was lucky enough to nab a couple of them when Stampin' Up! Was selling them. So if you have a really large stamp like this, if you've got a positioning tool, that might be helpful. Because that way, if you miss part of it, it's just easier to line up when there's so many lines. All it takes is being just a little bit off, and then it looks like you need new glasses. And we'll see. My foam actually seems a little thick. I'm not sure. I think it might just be because I have it so close to the edge. And then I also have my little dry erase board eraser that I use to just kind of iron my stuff. It's easy for me to hold, so All right, let's see how this looks. I missed some over here. And I think it's still on the stamp. I think I just didn't press hard enough there. And hopefully the paper didn't shift. I should have just used some half sheets of paper instead of cutting them in quarters, because then I could have moved this over a little bit further. There, that's better. And I'm gonna do another one while I'm at it. And I wanted to make sure that that paper was big enough. We'll do a second one because I may color more than one. I think I may have gotten all the masks that Stampin' Up! Has released. I might have missed one, but I do really like them. Hello, Susan from Melbourne. All right, so I have a Perth, Wisconsin and a Melbourne. Oh, not Perth, Wisconsin. Perth, Western Australia, and then Melbourne. So what is your time zone? Yes, I really like the Stampin' Up! One, and you know, maybe after some of the patent periods are up, maybe they'll be able to offer it again. I don't know. But I'm surprised there are a couple of companies that are still able to offer it. So that was just a shame. I'm just glad I had mine, and I don't use it real often because, you know, people can't get it anymore, but there are other positioning tools out there, and it is a helpful tool. And since I have the ones that I have, I'm just going to continue to use them. All right, so I've got 2 of those. We're just going to start with that. All right, so, okay, so you're even later than Perth. Go Aussies, that's right. I hope to come to Australia someday and check out what I understand is a very beautiful country. All right, so let's start doing a little bit of blending. And I'm just going to tape my grid paper down so it doesn't slide much. Yeah, so it is 11:35 p.m. Friday evening for me. All right, so let's get our masks out here. Yeah, for a while I had quite a few from Australia coming in. And for a while, nobody from Australia has really said anything. So I would love to visit. I had actually planned a trip there, and I was actually doing kind of the itinerary, the things that I wanted to do, and it was quite some time ago. I ended up getting a divorce instead, and I couldn't afford both. So anyway, someday I hope to get there. So this particular mask set has 5 masks. If you have not used these before, there's numbers in the upper left-hand corner. They're a little bit raised, just mildly, but then there's a notch. So when you line up your image, so you can kind of see I stamped it first, so now I just have to line up my image. When you line it up, the idea is you should take a pencil or a pen or whatever works for you and mark that notch. I love it. I'm going to have to get your contact information. That's the thing with stampers, so we're all like family, don't you think? All right, so I am actually going to mark a couple things. Normally I don't do this much, but because it's crooked and I've got some gray space here, I want to make sure it's going to go all right. So now I'm just going to try to be a little safe. I love beachy things. all things nautical. The problem is that I cannot spend very much time in the sun because I burn very easily. I could sit under an umbrella or something though. All right, so we are going to start this with the red. And I am going to skip as best I can these flowers here because I want to try to leave those white. But I'm going to get the buds because those look to me like they should be little rosebuds. All right, and then I'm going to put a little piece of washi tape over that. Maybe I should put washi tape over a few of these and see how that works. I'm not worried about these up here because I don't think I'll be that wild. And I brought in my light Lemon Lolly marker because my Stampin' Blend rather, because I'm going to color the centers. So let's just start doing these. And we'll see how deep in color I want them to be. We'll go with that. All right, so then we're just going to lift this off. And what I should have done is tape this down too. So I'll do that now because I was very careful not to let it move. And I do have more washi tape, just not right here. All right, so number one we're done with for right now. And I'm going to take these pieces of tape off because I might need them. So I've been to a lot of places in the United States. I've been to a number of other countries as well, just because we have taken a couple of cruises, because you can see a lot when you travel that way. All right, so here we're going to do some more of the real red. And it's going to start getting darker, of course. Here I'm going to try to miss these, so let's just be careful, Lori. And I'm dabbing it off of on my grid paper just because I don't want a real harsh color when I put it down. All right, so that was number two. Mask number two, and look at how it's building already. Hopefully you can see that pretty good on screen. I mean, I can kind of see it here on the page that I'm watching. Now we're going to take mask number three, and again, I'm lining up the notch. I'm lining up my corners, because then I don't really have to guess where it's supposed to lay. Nicole, do you use, no, let's see. I forgot who I asked if you'd use the masks. Some of the messages go out where I can't see them, so. All right, next layer, let's make this even more vibrant. And here there's a couple of spots for those yellow circles. And I'm just gonna use the mask to my advantage and fill those in right there. All right, so mask number three is done. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, you beat me to it, Nicole. All right, so now I'm going to close up my red. And then we're going to put on number four. And this is going to start doing the leaves. I'm not anxious for Christmas just because it's going to be here before I know it. But I thought I'd do these Christmas colors, and I was talking to one of the gals that was on my team, and she's starting to plan all of her Christmas things, and she's so excited, and I thought, oh, I better kind of look at some of mine. All right, so it looks like everything that's open, I can start doing green. I know back in the day we used to call these stencils, and I remember it was the fad to get the thicker round of bristles, and then they were just cut off all straight, and then you would take the brush and you could like stencil anything. And we used to stencil borders on our walls around the door frames, and so I was pretty excited when these came into fashion. And then depending on how hard or how much I repeat, I have some variation in the colors here. Like this bit is a little bit lighter, hopefully you can see. And it's a little darker over here for the greens. So it's easy to make variables with your colors, even while the mask is on there for a single layer, if that makes sense. All right, and this is going to be our last one. This is mask number 5. And I'm just going to use the same green again. So basically it's just 2 colors, but it's going to look like a lot more than 2 different shades were used, because all the extra layers just make it more dark in certain spots. I'm glad I did the little yellow centers when I did. All right, let's see how it looks. Oh my goodness, I love that. The stipple brushes, that's it. Now they are, yeah, I would think they would be very hard to use. I still have some of my old ones, so the bristles will probably fall out if I try to use them. So, in order to turn this into a traditional colored Christmas card, I've got the red base with the plaid background. So 8.5 by 5.5, of course. Here in the United States, we scored at 4 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and burnish that. And I'm going to just lay that on there right now because I want to cut this out. Because I don't just want to put the white layer on there, because then I'm not going to see all the other things. So we're going to go ahead and take this off because I'm actually happy with how all of those colors blended. I don't feel like I have to touch up anything. So let me get my little Bossy Bessie out here. And I've got the base plate, I've got the shim, I've got the number 3 plates for cutting. So 1, 2, and 3. Now I just need to line up my die. And sometimes that's depending on how close the die is to the edges. And this one's relatively close. So I am going to hold this on with some washi tape again. Hopefully it won't shift. All right. And I haven't mentioned for a while, but when I put my cutting plates in, and I'll show you in just a second, I stagger them. It's a tapping motion rather than a swipe. You're right. Yeah, we kind of, you stippled on that stuff. Because if you ran around, it's like the paint was liquidy, kind of, if I remember correctly, and you could overpaint. So when I do my plates, I have them staggered. So, you know, sometimes I'll put the bottom cutting plate in and then the top one out so that they can grip better. I just don't put them so that all of them are at one end. All right, so let me just put this out of the way because I'll bring that back up later. And let me try to peel this off because I can use this washi tape again. That way I don't have to run over to the other side of my room to get another roll. So take a look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Stampin' Up! I think just gives us some really good tools. So this can go, I mean, you can have it go several ways. If I was going to do the card like this, I could probably have it kind of like a spray coming up. But I'm going to go ahead and attach this with my Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue. And I was struggling with my glue last night. I don't think you ladies were here last night, but I emptied out another bottle of glue, so I had to find another one. And this I just have at 4 by 5 1/4, so I just cut it down, just a normal layer. I want to shift that down a little, but I went a little too far. All right, so that'll be good. And then this I'm going to pop up on a whole bunch of dimensionals. And I don't know if you can see, I can see it, the lemon lolly that came through, which doesn't matter obviously because that's going to be the back side. Nobody will ever see it. And I don't usually use a lot of dimensionals. I'm kind of conservative with them. But this one I'm going to use quite a few, just because it's an odd shape. Oops, that one didn't come off. There we go. All right, so I think I like it. I like it this way because my card's opening there, so I kind of want to direct the eyes in that direction. And then Stampin' Up! Has a new ribbon, and I don't have a whole roll of it yet. I think I forgot to order it, but it is gorgeous. And I already tied this with my bow maker, so it's not like a regular knot that I can undo. But I think I'm going to put that on here. I'm just going to tuck it in over here because I don't want to cut any off. But it's just a really pretty shimmering. Hopefully you can see that. It's just a really pretty ribbon. And it's pretty easy to work with too. No, I think I'm going to tuck that maybe right in there with some glue dots. Hopefully it'll hold because this is up kind of high, so we'll see. And then I usually put my glue dots kind of on each side of the knot so that it doesn't wobble. And we're going to go, maybe I will go over here. Ah, I like it there. It's going to cover up part of the flower, but that's all right. All right, so that's good there. And then I'm just going to take this and maybe I'll just pop this in here. Let me get my take your pick tool. There we go. And I always like to push the folded end of my twine through the hole from the front because then I have a nice finished look when I pull the legs of the twine through there. So we could do one of these where I just kind of wrap it around here. Will that work? Maybe that won't work. Maybe what I'll have to do, because that's going to be too low, maybe what I'll have to do is just kind of tuck this under here and nobody will know that there's a hole in it. What do you think? I think the baker's twine is just making it too complicated for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue that on. And then, this is the empty bottle. The near empty bottle. I'll just pop that up there. There we go. Put that in a different jar. And then what I'll do is I have some extra pieces of basic white. I cut them. They're here somewhere. I just don't know what I did with them. They're here. They'll show up. I'm going to do another one in green. And then we'll take, or you guys can decide, do you want me to do one in basic beige or green? The flowers are going to be the same color, so those will go faster. Whoops. I forgot my plates were there where I was going to walk. So anybody have an opinion? Should we do green or basic beige? Oh, here's my white pieces. Green, please. So this will go in here. But I think what I will do is another layer with the plaid. All right, green and beige. Well, it'll go fast. I'll do another layer with that plaid embossing. And then what I'll do is I'll cut it out so it's not so much weight in my card. And maybe I'll kind of paper piece them together. So that will be that. And then I'll look for some gems. All right, so let's do these quickly. I need to get my Stamparatus again. And I'm gonna stamp these right after each other this time. Go wild, do both, exactly. Depends on how long you ladies want to stay. But it's Saturday by you, so do you ladies work outside the home? I'm guessing work is like Monday through Friday. My die is jiggling here. And then nice. Did it the first time. I like doing things where it can kind of be assembly line. Yeah, we're doing crafting markets still around here too. We'll do more as it gets into like November and December for us with the holidays. I actually have one a week from tomorrow that I'm going to set up a booth at. I hope we will have good weather because it is outside. All right, that worked good. All right, so we'll get that out of the way. And we'll have to probably change, I might have to change the markings on my page here. So let's get out mask number 1 and kind of line that up and see. I think it's just going to be easier to make new lines. I'm going to move over here. And I'm going to go get another roll of washi tape. I had a couple over at my table, but Then they got moved because of the class I was doing. So, all right. So now my notch went off my scrap paper, but I'm not going to let that throw me because I'm just going to mark the corners instead. It'll be fine. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, our granddaughter is not back to school yet. She's still on summer vacation. And I need to write again. She's still on summer vacation. She'll go back not this week, but next week after our Labor Day holiday. So do you have a Labor Day holiday? Ours is always the first Monday in September. All right, these I don't want to get. This I don't want to get. So I'm just going to try to be careful and not hit those. No, I already did. Maybe next time I should mask them like I did the first time. All right, I think that's good. And I'm going to leave the tape on that one for the next one. Oh, and then I forgot to mark the corners. Silly me. So I guess I'll mark the corners now. Sometimes that happens. If I would have marked it on the first one, it would have been easier for me. There we go. I'll mark it now. So not that one. This one. When I do the decorative masks, I always end up kind of inky for some reason. Like that. So I just have to be careful that I don't touch anything important, right? All right. So that was mask number 2. Mask number 3. And I'm going to try to do this without having that one taped down because there's not a whole lot here. That should be good. And then I'm going to take the opportunity. You've been retired for 5 years already? That's awesome. Young, very young retiree. Good for you. I just retired last year, so not quite a year and a half ago. And I was 61 at the time. No. It was before my birthday. So I would have still just barely been 60 because I just turned 62. Teaching special needs kids, that's pretty special. I would not have the patience to do that. It's hard enough teaching college age students. I retired from our technical college. More of the admin stuff than teaching, but I do teach CPR and first aid. Yeah, my friend the other day, she came to my coffee and a card on Wednesday. She's on my team. But she said she had been talking to one of her other friends, and I had come up in their conversation. And she says, yeah, Lori retired, and She's rocking it because I do not miss work at all. All right, Nicole, you got your computer working. That's awesome. Now you can start the transfer process, or do you have a lot of stuff that's web-based? And you're a special needs assistant. You guys are awesome. My sister-in-law did that for many years. She's a little older than me, but she retired a few years ago as well. So kudos to you both for doing that. That's a hard job. Very rewarding, I imagine, but still difficult, challenging. All right, I think that's in the right place. And you probably noticed that I did catch those yellow centers when I had that mask on there. Your daughter is a good technical support person, huh? I used to be able to get my son to help me, but he doesn't live around here anymore. He's grown. Hello, Lori. You clicked on live and here we are. Nice. Thank you for joining us. We're on our second card just doing these Layers of Beauty masks. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this one because we're all done with the second one. So here's our first card. We have 12 more days until, well, the 12th day from now, I believe, if I counted right on my calendar, the new Stampin' Up! Mini catalog goes live. I'm just trying to make sure that I line this up really good because I don't want too much white around the edges off balance. So I think that's going to be pretty good. Where are you from, Lori? I don't remember if you've joined me before. I apologize. Oh, that's right. Your Labor Day is in March. Somebody did tell me that. I remember now. All right, so Lori, you're in Albuquerque. So is it around 10 o'clock by you? I'm trying to think. My sister-in-law is in Arizona, but they don't do daylight savings time. So she's 2 hours now, I think. All right, so there's that one. All right, let's get rid of some debris and pull in the green card base that I have ready. So we've got the garden green, and again, I did this so it's 11 by you, so you're just an hour different from me. Okay, good to know. And are you a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, crafter, card maker, just random? So Nicole, yesterday definitely was Susan. Oh, Your fairy wing boots. It was a tough day, huh? The comments are a little delayed on my iPad, so I apologize if I've missed things. I try to keep track, but I also don't want to stop and read comments and take 3 or 4 hours to get through a couple of cards either, because that can get kind of boring for you, for those that want to hang on there for the long haul. So some more dimensionals. Here we go. Now, I do not have more of that red ribbon. And I'm trying to think. I have some old stuff. I may just have to wait till my red ribbon comes in and put that on there. We'll see how it looks. I probably should not have put that on the card right away, and we could have just bounced it from one card to the next, but you guys can visualize. Well, thank you. I enjoy having people on here. It really does make it more fun when I know I'm not just talking to myself, knowing that, okay, well, people are going to see it on the replay. I get it, but it's nice to have the interaction. And, you know, sometimes you ladies help make the decisions on what the cards look like. So I am in Wisconsin. So are you part of, there's a bunch of gals here that do the junk journals. I crochet as well, just not this time of year. That's one of my winter sports, a winter sport. All right. So there's that one on the green. And then we'll go ahead and we'll glue this on. Or, you know, maybe we could do, I should have probably left it on the other one. Yeah, I've got 2 sisters-in-law that are in Arizona in the Mesa, Gilbert area. There's some more family that's in Tempe. So we get out that way once in a while. Not super often because they're all Italian. My husband obviously is Italian, though they're his sisters. And he does not like the heat. So we only go when it's cooler out. All right, so here what I think I'm going to do is, I could just, maybe I'll do this like, I don't know. I kind of like the twine on there, but I'm trying to get it to work on here. I wonder if I tied it different to be just a bow. What do you think? Let me just take part of this out so I don't have to rethread it. There's always a runner. You get that with kids that aren't special needs too, though. All right, so let's just make this into a bow and see how that looks. Have you seen, Stampin' Up's been doing some reels on how everybody makes bows. I like to use my little bow maker when I can. So what do you think of that? The bow with the baker's twine? Let me trim that down a little bit. Yeah, I say retire as soon as you're eligible. My husband was a police officer for 40 years. He stayed on for a number of years because he had gone through kind of a messy divorce a number of years ago, so he wanted to build his retirement account back up again, but I'm like, just retire. So he finally did, and then I followed a few years later because I'm younger than he is. I think I kind of like that there. And I'm going to use some glue dots just because it'll give it a little lift without lifting it as far as a dimensional would. So I'm just going to kind of roll this into a little like burrito sort of thing. And we're going to put a few of those on there. Instead of having it flat, we'll roll it up. We'll see if it gives the look I want. Although I probably could have put a dimensional, there's not one there. I probably could have put one on the end and just tried to line it up really well, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm kind of liking the green right now too. I'm partial to green though. Green and purple are my favorites. And then we'll see what the basic beige looks like. I think the flowers are really going to pop on that background. All right, so let's just put this over here. And that'll kind of cover up this. To me, it's kind of an awkward white background. I could probably just soften it up a little bit with a little bit of green, though, if I don't press real hard. That makes it a little less in your face. That'll work. So I'm just going to press that there. And it's just got a little itty bitty bit of lift. You probably can't see that, but it's just up a little bit. So Susan, you like blues and pinks. Nice. So the pastels are more your style. I like bright, bold colors. All right, so now we've got this one. So we are going to tape this puppy down again. And don't let me forget to mark the corner on my masks again. All right. Try to get some of this stuff out of the way so we don't have too much clutter here. All right. So mask number 1. And you could probably actually I was going to say you could probably do them in reverse order, but it kind of defeats the purpose for what the layers should be. You'd have to really control your blending brush. All right. So we are going to go here, not here. Here, because again my notch went off my grid paper, which is not a big deal. Although if I want to try to mark this corner, I probably shouldn't have put my washi tape on the corner. So that notch in the corners just make it easier to line up things later. Oh, and then you know what I forgot to do? I just noticed all my little pieces here. I'm going to tuck some of these die cut leaves in here and branches and put them on there. Now these do have adhesive on the back, so we'll tuck those in. Don't let me forget that either. We'll play with some of those. I'll put those there kind of so that they're a reminder. Let's get the red ink again. And I'm going to mask over these flowers so that I don't mess them up, because these, a couple of them are a little pink. But that's right up your alley, Susan. So feel free to make yours pink if you like. All right, and I'm not worried about those because I'm not going to stray that far away. See, a lot of people like to color with like the pencils and the markers, the alcohol blends. That does not bring me peace and relaxation. It brings me a little bit of stress. The blending brushes, where I can just go, you know, and make my own shades, that brings me peace and calm and happiness. Those are just so pretty. I love these. All right, so mask number 2, and I'm going to line up that corner, this corner, and that corner, and I should be pretty close. Sure enough. All right, more red. I guess I should have left that out. I gotta watch those white flowers because there are holes here and I did not mask those. Let's take care of that right now. That's not gonna stay because I have ink on there. That one might not stay either. All right, let's try this again. And some of these, if you have these masks and haven't used them yet, just be aware that some of the pieces inside the flower are freestanding. So if you brush too hard, you're going to move them and they might bend. So just kind of watch yourself on those. All right. So that's it for the red, just those couple there, I think. I just love how these shade. They're gorgeous. 2, where's 3? What did I do with mask 3? I do still need the red. All right. That's all right. This is the one that I didn't have tape on because I figured I could hold it in place well enough. All right. We're going to make this one really dark red. Oops, shift it a little bit. All right. And then this is the one that had the little spots for the yellow in the flowers. This is my light lemon lolly. And I'm very gentle when I use that brush tip, just because I don't like them broken. All right, now mask number 4. Get the red out of there. For real this time. Sela, welcome. I started a little earlier tonight than I have the last couple of nights. So we are on card number 3. Sala, we've got Susan and Nicole are here from Australia. Lori is here from New Mexico. And then you're from Finland. So there you go, everybody. Kind of know a little bit about each other. All right, so we are doing 3 different color options because on the 12th day from today, the new mini catalog will go live for Stampin' Up. Yes, it's Saturday for you. It's actually very early Saturday morning for me now. It's not quite 12:30 in the morning. All right, so I'm just doing a light shading on that layer and we'll go to the last one. And now these masks, all I have to do is rinse them underwater and they will come clean. And in fact, for those of you who haven't seen that before, I am lucky enough to have a sink in my crafting space. So I will go rinse a couple of these off so you can see. Now the red one, because I've let them sit a little bit, they might have a little pink tinge. We'll see. Sometimes that does happen if you don't clean them off with a deep dyed color like that. But I will show you how nicely they clean up. Yes, International Crew, yep. I love it. So we did a real red, we did a garden green, and now we're doing a basic beige, all with the same masking set. So all of the flowers are the same, believe it or not. So I'm kind of doing traditional Christmas colors, thinking the 12 days of Christmas, because the 12th day our catalog will be going live. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just rinse these off so you can see how nicely they clean up. And I'm gonna take a red one and a green one. Yeah, so the red does permeate some of those things, but these are a little different. It might be a little pink, but we'll see. So I'm rinsing the green one, and I'm just rinsing the red one. I'm not going to rub it at all. And just let me grab a piece of paper towel here so that I don't drip on my cards. All right, so this is the green one, nice and clean, and this is the red one. I did not rub it at all. There is a little bit of pink kind of around the edges, but if I rub that with my fingers, it's probably going to come clean, okay? So they're really easy to work with. And I'm just going to rinse these others off quick and leave them in the sink. All right. All right, thanks for your patience. All right, so let me take this off. We're done blending. So I'm gonna get rid of, whoops, oh, that won't matter because we're cutting that out anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this off of here. And then talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. I'm gonna cut this out, but I need the dye. So Lori, are you familiar with the die cutting machines? I was gonna cut this off screen, but if you've not seen how that works, I can demonstrate that. I'm thinking if you do junk journaling, you're probably familiar with it. Maybe I'll just bring it up anyway. All right, so let's just scooch this in here. I think I lined up the die pretty well. All right. Now I am going to use, let me just put that away. Stampin' Up! Really did a good job on that set of masks. I really love the effect. So let's go ahead and push this out. I am going to take this blending brush and because we're going to put it on the basic beige, I don't want all this white in here, all right? I want the white for the daisies, kind of. So I'm just going to kind of get rid of that really bright white around the edges. There's still going to be some white with those daisies, but I'm going around the edges. And I didn't re-ink this. I'm just using the leftover ink that was still in the brush. And that's just going to soften up that white. I don't want to use the basic beige because that has some green tones in it, but I don't want to kind of taint the white with what might be considered a dirty color. So here's my 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4 card base. Those of you who have crafted with me before know that I do a whole sheet of cardstock. I score it once, whichever way I'm going to score it, and then I cut once, and then I have 2 card bases ready to go. So I have done that on this one already. Now this one I actually had ready for my embossing folder. So there's an extra layer on here. You can just kind of disregard it or act like you don't see it, or if you didn't notice, just, it is. Mama Juju, welcome. Got a couple of junk journalists here coming on late. So we have some Australia tonight, we've got some New Mexico, we've got Finland, and we've got me in Wisconsin. All right, so dimensionals on here again. We are on card number 3 of 3. Our new mini catalog, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I am, goes live on the 12th day from today. So I thought I would kind of do like a 12 days of Christmas green and red theme here. Yep, I actually got on a little bit earlier tonight than I have the last couple of nights. My goal is to get to bed a little bit earlier tonight. So far, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I get to do a little at-home sleep study to see if I have sleep apnea. So it'll be interesting to see how the tests come back. Now, this little tag, I did a bunch of these just because that's the size sheet I had. I am not going to use a white tag on here because that just does not work for me. So I think what I will do is maybe get a garden green. I'll cut out the tag and I'll emboss the sentiment on there. So the last thing I wanted to do with these is, because I had all of these little foliage pieces that I cut out from the dies, I kind of forgot to put those. Thank you, Sala. I appreciate it. So I have here, these are the extra pieces. Since I had the piece that already had some adhesive on the back, so I cut out as many as would fit on that piece. So I'm just going to peel these off and start laying them on as extra foliage pieces and let them give it a little extra dimension to the card here. We'll just have to see where I want them to pop in. All right, so there's actually there's 4 different leafy things. So I think I'll put a little one up with that again. We'll do 2 there. Yeah, I almost forgot to do them. I'm working on, I think, I don't know, was I finishing up the second card or had I started the third one? I just don't remember. And it's like, oh, wait a minute, I have all these green pieces. No, this one's an at-home one initially, so I went to my appointment and got all my stuff today. So I have my contraption to set up. So we'll see how it goes. My difficulty is going to be sleeping for 6 hours, because they want you to have it on at least 6 hours. And I usually sleep for about 5.5 to maybe 6 hours. So we'll see how it goes. So yeah, I did that today. I picked it up today and got my instructions on how to use it. There, I think that's maybe enough. We'll see how many I have left. I could probably put this one down here because I do have an extra. We'll do that. So depending on how this one turns out, we'll see what the doctor wants to recommend going forward. I don't think I have sleep apnea. So we'll see. We're just trying to rule out some stuff, so. Whatever happens, happens, and we just figure out where to go from there. So Sally, do you have sleep apnea then or not? Because that's one of the things when you sleep but you wake up tired, or you know, like me, I can if we're driving somewhere, not that I'm the driver, if I'm the passenger, if we're going anywhere and if it's, you know, more than a half an hour, 45 minutes, I'm ready to take a nap in the car. But part of that is because I would rather not watch my husband drive. And he knows it, and he's going to listen to this video, so he'll probably comment to me. But it's just less stressful for me if I don't watch him drive. He might be listening now even, I don't know. I just heard him in the living room. So anyway, so I have a few extra pieces, but we don't really have to use them. And then I have my extra insides. But like I had mentioned earlier, this one I need to cut down. You're a very tired soul, but you know, it might be a sleep apnea thing. And if you can get that fixed, then you can get your energy back, because if you don't get good sleep, it affects everything else. So anyway, I will cut down a piece of, I'll probably do basic beige, because I don't really, the white is so stark in there to me, although that does look kind of nice. What I'll do is I will emboss the coordinating color in that plaid again, but I will gut the center so that there's not so much weight, because these are actually kind of heavy, and if I put too much more weight in here, the post office is going to want more money to process them, and I hate putting extra postage on if I don't have to. So this, these were some of the pieces that I did when the very first playtime I had with these masks. And I did not use the stamp to do the outlining, but here's how they look with the image on there. And I'm just gonna soften up these white areas here, not the daisies, but just the white areas, just to get that in your face white out of there. So these were pretty. They were really, I really liked it at the time, but with the outline from the stamp, I really like these better. So then the only other thing I have to worry about is what kind of embellishments. So I don't know if I want like some flat matte dots or some blingy rhinestones. What do you think? Matte. These might be good on there, although there are the antique pearls too. They're in here somewhere. Here we go. I have the antique pearls too. That's what I'm going to do on this one for sure. So the blingy bling. Yeah, the outline really defines the flowers. It really makes them stand out. 3. I think I want to do just a couple more. I'm going to take one of these big ones. I usually shy away from the really big ones, but I'm going to tuck that under. So I've got 5 on there instead of 3. So I usually do 3, 5, or 7, depending on what it is. So that's the antique pearls. And this was in our mini catalog. I think they're an online exclusive now. I think they're still available. All right, so that's Online Pearls. And then we have the bling. So let's do that for sure on the green ones. We'll just tuck this maybe over there. A couple up here. Do you think that one needs 5 or 3? Can you see those shimmer? Because if I want 5, I'm going to take them out of the other pack. So let's do a couple little ones. I think we'll go over here. There. 5. So I don't know if that came, my iPad is a little delayed. Mama Juju, so I just saw yours, but we're on the same page. I like that. And then let's do the white ones here because there's some white. So I will go ahead and I will post pictures of these on my Facebook page too. And if you've made a project similar to this or you want to copy this, post a picture in the comments on my Facebook page. I love seeing what other people are making. So those I'm only going to put 3 on those. And then I think it just needs one more little added flare. And that's going to be a little bit of Winkostella. And then we're going to call it a night. I feel like I kind of have a mess going on here. How did I have one more? I wonder if that was an extra one from my other samples. Who knew? Yes, we need some splatters. And you won't be able to see it very well, but I'm going to be able to see the shimmer. That is, if only you could see it up close. It is quite pretty. A couple of big flicks on there. I don't know if you can see it, but very pretty. So I think for this one, I'm going to do the daisies a little bit and give them some flair. Hopefully it won't smear. And then we'll just give a couple of flicks to those roses. And then here maybe I'll just highlight some of these petals and add some pizzazz. And I'm kind of doing it at the edges where the layers were made from the stencil, because it kind of blends some of the color too. All right, and then I'm just gonna get that color off my Winkostella by brushing it off. All right. Thank you for joining me. I'm glad you liked them. I got some splatter on my glass mat. So here we go. Layers of Beauty. And I agree, they're beautiful. I love the Stampin' Up! Products. And I like the colors. Just the red and the green. So basically we only used 2 colors, and that was the Garden Green and the Real Red. Besides the basic beige for the background. All right. Phew. I'm going to call it a night, ladies. Thank you so much, Sala. Thanks, Mama Juju. Hope everybody likes them. Give me a thumbs up. Feel free to share my video. If you haven't already subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe. It just helps me spread my love of crafting with others who are like-minded, which makes it fun. So, good night. Thank you. Let me do just a quick little thank you message on here before I sign off. Enjoy the rest of your day for those of you in Australia, and enjoy your weekend, those of us that are in the US. Happy crafting, everybody.